So welcome to Beards and Baseball, because I got a pretty sweet beard and we love talking about baseball. Now excuse the shadows if you will, it's really bright out today, so got to put on the Braves hat. But in the world of baseball over the weekend, a huge trade happened. I don't know if you heard or not, but this is a blockbuster deal. The Diamondbacks sent Joe Saunders to the Orioles for Matt Lindstrom. Can you believe that? Okay, obviously that's not the trade we're talking about. That actually did happen, but the mega deal that happened over the weekend was that the Boston Red Sox and the Los Angeles Dodgers switched some mega players, some big name players, and a lot of money. So the Boston Red Sox sent Adrian Gonzalez, Carl Crawford, Nick Punto, and Josh Beckett to the Dodgers for primarily James Loney, who will probably be gone at the end of this year, and 4 prospects, 2 of them being their top prospects. Now, while the trade is a huge one, and obviously it says that the Boston Red Sox have chosen to tank on this year and start building towards the future, and the Dodgers are all in on this year, there's something that it shows about both teams we want to talk about. The Boston Red Sox. The Red Sox, the perennial underdog. If you talk about to a fan of Boston, you'll hear that they have that underdog mentality because for so many years they played second fiddle to the Yankees. Well, after this trade, you kind of see that they go back under the radar. They have a little bit more of that underdog mentality back into their culture. Because the prospects that they got for those main players were great ones. Allen Webster was the number 2 prospect for the Dodgers. Robbie De La Rosa has a lot of potential, a really high ceiling. And James Loney can be a serviceable first baseman right now, but he actually hasn't played above replacement level value, which is called WAR, wins above replacement. He actually hasn't played above that since 2007. And so the Red Sox, this trade was for the future. And it says something about their system and where they're going, coming off of these golden years from 2004 to 2010. But now let's talk about the Dodgers. Are you kidding me, LA? This is a huge deal. I would almost venture to say that the Dodgers have now become, kind of this year, the Yankees of the West. Look at who they got. They went out and got Joe Blanton, but they also got Hanley Ramirez. And so they added to their lineup and their rotation at the trade deadline. But now this deal puts them over the top. First base was maybe their weakest spot. And now they've gotten rid of James Loney and they bring in one of the top first basemen in the league, and Adrian Gonzalez. And so they have Adrian Gonzalez coming in, Josh Beckett to shore up their rotation, Nick Punto to play a utility role, and next year they'll have Carl Crawford. And see, that's what it also says, because Carl Crawford's out for the year with Tommy John surgery. So the trade isn't one only for this year, but it sets up the Dodgers going forward. This is a trade that will actually signify a change of the guard of the Dodgers. For a long time, they kind of meddled around in the West, but now they've got Matt Kipp locked up long time. They've got Andre Ethier for a long-term deal. But then Adrian Gonzalez and Carl Crawford are on the books until at least 2016. So this is a huge thing that Magic Johnson and Stan Kasten and the new ownership group of the Dodgers are really saying. That we're all in. And in my opinion, the world of baseball is going to be better for it. This trade was a huge one, but really it said that there are 2 opposite directions that we have the teams of the Dodgers and the Red Sox heading in. Which one did you like the best?